cold January day, life changed in so many ways at once. As the day begun, I lived one life. As the day ended, I had begun anew, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love, reborn. I'm like an ice skater dancing out for the first time on the form solid ice. No more fears, no sorrows, because I love the common tomorrows. This life has barely begun, but now I know what I wanna do. I know what I wanna be, reborn. Finally feeling I am fulfilling my destiny, with a heart filled of gratefulness, happiness, joy, overflowing of kindness and love. Oh, so much love. I feel like love is the supportive pillar in my soul, and it only grows each day. I'm reborn in love.
Oh, my gravy. I've been talking this whole time with no audio. So, hello, Kaleidoscope of Happiness. Hi, Misha. Um, Shoot, it was a really good intro. I think the replay will have it, but let me just say real quick um, that I my focus is about raising our vibrations, living in love and light, um, elevating ourselves to be the best version of ourselves, with compassion, with integrity, with honor, with respect. The things I think most of us say we want, right? So, thank you, Mish. I had the microphone off for some reason. Um, so, when we talk about the universal laws, we've already covered the first five. So, let me just give um, a little synopsis of. I'm sorry. So, what I did describe while the microphone was muted was that I have been struggling with a cold for the last 3 or 4 days. And though I am feeling much better, I am still congested and sound a little stuffy in the nose. Um, so, the first law is the law of divine oneness, and this is just telling us that everything in this universe is connected. Our thoughts, our actions, our belief influence the world around us. The second law is the law of vibration. And that really is telling us that everything is in constant motion, vibrating at different frequencies. So our emotions and thoughts also carry those vibrations and shape our reality. The third law is the law of correspondence. And again, it's tying in laws one and two. The patterns repeat throughout the universe. The way that we think and feel internally reflects in our external circumstances. Hey, Josh, so nice to see you. I hope you got some rest. I missed you this morning. Millie, hello, greetings. I hope you guys can stay to the end. There's a new intro and an outro, and I'm really proud of it. And I had a wonderful person help me. So anyway, um, so the law of correspondence is talking about these patterns, right? Throughout the universe, the way we think, the way we feel internally reflects in our external circumstances. The fourth law was the law of attraction. Like attracts like. The energy we put out through our thoughts, our words, our feelings, our emotions, which are feelings. See, I'm still congested. Draw similar experiences into our lives. So if you're a cranky pants, you're going to attract cranky people. And that's not just being cranky one day. I'm talking being cranky. Oh boy, like Eeyore. Okay, the sun is out. It's too bright. Okay, the temperature is perfect. You know what I mean? That's it's if we put out, oh my gosh, those clouds are illuminating the sun and cooling off the earth so that my dog's paws don't burn. There's a difference in how we reshape words and our thoughts and our feelings. The fifth law, which was last month, and I can't believe we're already, you know, 3 days into a new month, is the law of inspired action. And this talked about manifesting. Manifestation requires action. So when you aligning our actions with our intentions, and that just because we say I want a new car doesn't mean that abracadabra is going to show up at your fingertips. You have to work for it, or be gifted, or whatever it is. But putting it out into the universe is the first step. So, thank you. Thanks, Mish. I am feeling better. I'm just dragging. So, as we dive into the sixth, which is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Now, I wrote some notes on this because, first of all, perpetual transmutation does not just roll off the tongue. But it talks about the energy is always moving and changing, and we can shift our circumstances by raising our vibration. So let's talk about that. That's really what we're here today to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to go the whole time, guys, just because I'm a little bit congested. And if truth be told, I'm a little dirty. Just saying. Hey, Jimena. I'm dirty because I was out in my garden and I'm trying to get the last of my vegetables and spearmint and peppermint planted in the ground. I just planted some sweet potatoes. And so if I can get this stuff in the earth, then I can just breathe for a short period of time. So the sixth universal law, AKA the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Oh, hi, Victor. Welcome, welcome. And as I told you guys earlier, although I was talking to myself and my volume was off, please stick around for the end because there's this new intro outro that I'm really excited about. So I'd love to share that with you guys. And for those of you that are new, if you haven't liked, please like the video if you are so inclined to do so, and subscribe. So this principle, it talks about that the higher energy, vibrational energy, can transform our lower vibrational energy, which really means that we have the ability to shift our circumstances by altering our thoughts and our actions. And that includes things like our words, our attitude. This law reminds us that nothing is truly stagnant, that everything is evolving at all times, and that we, the individual, have the power to influence that transformation. Thank you, Millie. Let me just tell you, I am a little fragrant. I smell like earth. And I actually don't think that. Um, oh, I'm sorry you can't hear, Victor, but that's all right. I love the smell of earth, and there are so many worms. I know I'm getting off topic, but I love being in the earth. Um, so by maintaining, by us thinking or adjusting our attitude to a more positive energy and positive intentions and positive thoughts, we can create these meaningful changes in our lives. Now, we can talk about how to apply this in our daily life, and I absolutely am going to do that. But I also want to make sure that I'm clarifying that as much as I talk about these, thank God, Josh, if there was smell tube, I'd be in trouble today. Um, you know, I'm a student. I was going to say practitioner, but I'm a student of the universal laws. I'm a student of the four agreements. I'm a student of all of these vibrational energies because that is what my soul is calling for me to be and to do, right? But I have 62 years of programming, behaviors, words that I can say to you if you were talking to me and you were saying something that you were describing yourself in a negative way. The first thing I would want to do is to stop you and tell you that you're beautiful, you're handsome, you are loved, you are good, you are kind, and that you had a moment of weakness. I was in the backyard trying to put this bloody mosquito net over an umbrella, and I actually stepped down and stepped away and said, girl, stop trash talking yourself. First of all, it probably was going to take at least two people to put it up and over this umbrella that I've got. It's too small for the situation. It'll work, but And I really was berating myself. So I had to stop, because what ends up happening is if I put that out into the universe, it's going to come back at me. And I already have a history of people telling me that I'm not good enough in some fashion. So for me, it was, a life lesson. These are lessons. So in our daily life, if we initiate gratefulness, and Josh has talked about this as well, um, and I've been practicing gratefulness for most of the days since I started watching Lee Harris. Um, what if we're grateful, if we're appreciative, if we are um, aware of the blessings that we already have. I have this body. I have two hands where many people don't. I have two legs where many people don't. I have a working body most days. Um, and so, if anything, that's enough to be grateful. But I have an abundance of things to be appreciative and grateful for. So, it's understanding that the thoughts and actions influence the energy around you. So, if I got up this morning, even though I was plumb tuckered out and barely slept, um, and was cranky, it would have influenced my day. Um, and um, I am grateful for my puppies. These two chuckleheads that basically squish me into a coffin-like position in bed every single night because they have to be close enough. Oh, poor me. So, there's so much love there. Um, I don't have Kaleidoscope of Happiness's channel, so I think Josh has the ability, as does Mish, to put the channel out there if you would like. Um, I, I, I don't. It's not ringing a bell to me. So daily, daily actions we can take. Mind shift, right? Mindset shift. Be intentional and replace the negative thoughts with empowering ones. So um, that's something along the lines of, it is going to be a great day today. I am so grateful. Or the other thing that I've been trying to say is, I am so happy that the sun has graced us and warmed the earth. Now, I'm shivering in my pants and it's cloudy. But by putting that out there into the universe, we're now telling our universe, um, you know, we're changing things. So anyway, um, surround yourself with positivity. Engage with people that are uplifting or inspirational, or environments. If you're in a coffee shop, and you know the higher vibrational energy naturally elevates the lower energy. So if I'm having a gloomy day and I'm out in the dog park, immediately my energy raises just a little bit because it's filled with puppy love, and that brings me joy. I love squirrels. I love birds. I'm watching the birds um, in my little backyard, which is almost finished, and I'm going to be showing you pictures. But I have a couple of bird houses that babies are in. I have the feeders where they're dancing through. So, oh, this is Echo. She changed it. Look at you, sister. Well, now I know you. I was like, Kaleidoscope of Happiness. Well, that just reflects you, Echo, for sure. Um, and then take inspired action, right? So don't wish for change, act on it, even small steps. And, um, there are things that I want to evolve my channel into. There are people I want to interview. And but it's not to just for clicks, although that would be wonderful. I'd love to grow my channel. Um, it's about building community and energy and healing and compassion and kindness. So I think that's for me one of those things that's transformational. Um, the other thing, and I've talked about it briefly, is practice gratitude, because that just amplifies high energy frequencies. I mean, it helps you to shift from the lack to abundance. If we're going to focus on what we don't have, I don't have a Mercedes, I don't have a huge bank account. Look, I don't always get to pay every bill every month, but I am abundantly wealthy, um, because I get through every single month. I have food on my table every single month, day. You know what I meant. So there's this gratefulness that I'm grateful for this community. I say it every single time I come on here, and for me, it is genuine. Um, I think that, oh, yes, Josh, nature is our real TV. Um, I love that. Build a birdhouse for your soul. Um, I have I have a couple of bird cages. Um, and it was something that I think I've shared in the past on my channel, that I went to an open heart um, seminar workshop 2014, 13 or 14, after my mom was first diagnosed with cancer. And I was raging with things within myself. And the the thought and what I had journaled in the communications I had with the team was that I was a bird in a cage with the door shut and barbed wire around it. I didn't feel safe. And so building that birdhouse, um, that cage has an open door and I can fly in and out, and yet I still feel safe and comforted, but I am open to receive. And so, Josh, that is a perfect thing to have build your own emotional um, birdhouse for your soul is just beautiful. You should create some uh, things in your shop for that. You know what I mean? Some merch. That was the word I was looking for. Um, and then energy awareness. So notice the different activities that how they make you feel. If something's draining you, adjust your approach to try to bring more positive energy. Now, not everybody loves their jobs. Not everybody loves having certain family situations. If you have to have it, try to adjust yourself and say, I am grateful that I do have a family, or I'm grateful I do have a job, and I have the power to change how we receive the energy. Um, and energy, again, is always moving. You're never stuck. You can transform any situation by working with the energy you put out. Um, so think about something that you want to shift in yourself, right? Um, well, that's all right, Josh. I'm going to give you credit for it, my friend. Um, so, what are some of the common challenges that we face with some of the putting into practice some of these laws? When we think about the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, a mouthful if ever there was one, it requires us to consciously shift energy and maintain a high vibrational state of being. And so we have negative patterns. No, I'm going to reverse that. I have negative patterns. I am not going to put that out into the universe that others do. So what can be difficult sometimes is to break free from that limited, narrow thinking or belief or feeling or emotion. Um, which can slow down the ability to transmute energy into something positive. Again, if I'm a cranky pants all day long, then that's the energy I'm putting out. And if I've been doing that for 62 years, it's going to take time to undo it. Now, I am not a cranky pants, but you know what I mean. I'm just trying to um, set some examples. Um, some of the other things that might um, help shift energy, if you have a lack of awareness. So some folks that are in your universe or yourself maybe don't recognize how your thoughts and your actions influence your energy, making it harder to use this law to transform. So it's stopping. And one of the things that I saw today on a new channel that I started to follow, and right now I'm not remembering the name because I was only on for a few minutes because my hands were in the earth. Um, he said, oh, fudge, the thought just went out of my head. Um, oh, it'll come back, guys. I'm sorry. I'm still a little stuffy. Um, shoot. Well, it's gone. It'll come back. And so will his name of the channel. The other thing is energy management. And that's not my description, that is from my research. And so they talk about maintaining this high frequency of energy requires consistency. Um, oh, I remembered. Squirrel. Um, one of the things that was recommended was to just sit. It wasn't about meditation. It wasn't about anything other than sitting and observing. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes, and be aware of your breath. And that will help create a new pattern of awareness, being aware of yourself, of your body. So that was the thought that I tried to pull back out of the recesses of my mind. But when we're distracted, when we're under stressful situations, or there are external challenges for us to stay aligned, it's really working that out. And again, having that awareness. And I think that's one of those things that we don't always factor in. That was me in my studies as I go through this and I read these books, and oh my God, it makes so much sense. The Four Agreements, so duh in your head, like, of course. And the Ho'oponopono, right? These methods, they all make sense. When it comes to practice, one little external thing can flip me upside down. And so, I tell this to, when I was seeing clients, and when I have these talks with myself, I'm like, breathe. It's not about you. Someone's energy coming at me that is not positive isn't always about me. It's one thing if you're in a discussion and you're having a conversation with someone and it's getting heated. I'm talking about other people's crap coming at you. You got to use the stop. Like, I use this in my mind. I put my hands up like a stop sign, like, just stop. That's not my stuff. I don't often say it to someone's face, but in my head, that it's like, Teresa, stop. Let that person's energy roll over you. It's not yours. And almost like what Victor says in the meditation in the morning, in the evening, when we're breathing through this tunnel and we're releasing all the gobbledygook out into the universe, it's not mine. So why am I holding it? Why am I carrying it? Why am I letting it affect me? And so it's a practice. It's like yoga, ballet, tennis, anything, any activity that you partake in, it's practice. And part of this law sometimes is just resistance to change. Transformation requires us stepping out of our comfort zone. The fear of the unknown can prevent us from moving forward. And then the external influences like, your surroundings or your relationships, um, environmental um, impacts. It's always necessary for us to work and, yes, bye bye muck and gunk. And I think that's, being in nature for even 5 minutes, sitting on your front stoop or at your apartment building on the steps, or if you have a porch, or if you have a backyard, if you're in your car and you can pull over by a nice park or a river or a stream, take that moment to just, it's not mine, because we energetically absorb other people's energies. And if we don't consciously ground ourselves when we get up in the morning, or throughout the day, because I kind of feel like, Glinda the Good Witch, if you think of the Wizard of Oz, she had this bubble, but then she stepped out of the bubble, and would have a conversation with all the little people. If we don't put the bubble back around us to prevent other people's stuff from reshaping our intentions, our energies, our momentum, then it kind of drags with us. And the other thing that I often use is the backpack. We've got a backpack and we're carrying so much of our own stuff. How do we then expect to raise our vibration when it's dragging us down? And I'd love to know if any of you, while I'm talking, in the chat, just, are there any tips and tricks that you use? And so overcoming some of the negative thought patterns, it does take practice. And so mindfulness and awareness, pay attention to your thoughts without judgment. So that's the other thing. We have a habit of, well, that person's just an idiot, or I'm just an idiot. Okay. I'm going to acknowledge that I said that. What's the first step in changing that thought pattern that's negative? And I'm not an idiot. So why am I frustrated? What's, excuse me, what's preventing me from changing that verbiage that I'm spewing out at myself? And is the thought based on fact or assumption? Well, I'm not an idiot. I didn't know how to do something. And the fact is, I need to just acknowledge you don't know how to do this. Slow down. You can figure it out. I have, I'm going to just take a sip. Hold on, guys. I need my honey ginseng. Yeah, I mean, Echo, it's so important. And being with like-minded people. And I think I said this last time as well. Being with like-minded people doesn't mean like we're all drinking the same Kool-Aid. It's like-mindedness is, I want to live my life in service, in community, for the betterment of the people in my life. I witness so many things that hurt my heart on a regular basis, both within my family and externally with friends or with, just community members. And it's, I'm now coming to this place of wanting to sit for a moment and send that situation love and healing and awareness. And I literally set that intention, like, my prayer. And again, this sort of falls into assuming that it's already happened. I am grateful that that situation has resolved itself and there is love and light. When I was driving to my dad's funeral last week, I was with a friend of mine. Now, I wasn't doing the driving because I was afraid I would be in an emotional basket case. there was this odd calm to me. But we've been having tremendous rains here on and off. And so the first thing that I did, I put my hands up and um, I was like, I am so grateful for the sun bursting through those clouds and creating calm and peaceful traffic on the way to this funeral. And I said it a couple of times in some different situations. It was a test. I said it out loud. My girlfriend is a believer in energy work and healing, so she was on board with me because if one of us is driving, it's usually that idiot in front of us. And so we were changing our verbiage, and I tell you, it was almost eerie how the traffic flowed. We witnessed some crazy driving, and the first thing that I put out there was, I am grateful for that person weaving in and out of traffic, that they have slowed down and calmed down. Um, because it was like my initial reaction was to criticize, to judge, to whatever. Um, and it makes there's an awareness. Now, is that always easy to do? Nope. Um, And then, instead of dwelling on the negative thoughts, try to replace them with something positive, whether it's an affirmation or, okay, you made a mistake. You didn't do this project correctly. You're going to learn from it. You're going to do it again. And voila. It's changing the thought patterns in our brains. And of course, we talk about this all the time, but practicing gratitude, trying to limit the exposure to negativity of maybe people around you, social media. I think I talked about the fact that I've tuned out of a lot of different channels because the energy is not filled with love and light and healing and community. There is a community, but sometimes it's not for the betterment of people. My goal in life is not to um, say anything about another person that is negative, even if it's the truth, in a community setting, right? I mean, I don't get any pleasure out of someone's demise or downfall or struggle or, failure or whatever it is. I don't delight in that. I don't delight in the gossip of it. It's not, there's no purpose for me to partake in those kinds of channels. It's not elevating my higher good, not my vibration. Does it make those channels bad? No, but no different than, I don't like to watch the Real Housewives of any of them. They're not uplifting. So when I first started to watch them decades ago now, it was almost funny. And then it was hurting my spirit. I'm like, no, click. So if I'm not watching something that's bringing me some elevation, now that's not to say everything I watch is elevated, but there are things that change, and the ugliness that's out there um, in our type of community, that's okay. I'm going to let them go. YouTube is no different than Cinemax or HBO or, you know, Prime or whatever, Netflix. I don't like the channel. I change it. Now, in some cases, I will unsubscribe because I don't want to support that kind of negativity. In other cases, I just don't watch and I leave my subscription alone. Yeah, and Mish, you know, it just brings more ugly and keeps us tethered to the things that we don't need to hold on to anymore. And that is really important to me personally. I am about cutting the cords of things that don't serve me for my highest and greatest good. And then seek support. This is how we in our community talk to each other. Talk to a therapist, talk to a mentor, talk to a counselor, whomever, uh, a religious person that influences you to help change the thought patterns. Um, I think that does help. Um, and I think being truthful with yourself, you know what I mean? And observing when you're in a situation, what about that situation or person is triggering, is creating negativity. Um, Try to acknowledge your emotions without labeling them being good or bad. Easier said than done. Um, and then, with our mindfulness, use our breath, right? I can't breathe through my nose, but right? Feel the breath come into your chest right now. Take a deep breath, all of you, whether you can breathe through your nose or not. And exhale. And on that exhalation, we're just going to release everything that doesn't serve a purpose for us, right? In with cleanliness and positivity, and out with anything that doesn't serve us. Letting it in and letting it out. So mindfulness breathing, body awareness. Pay attention to your body. Are you holding certain tensions or physical sensations, or are you able to relax? And I think that's tied into breathing, right? When you can breathe more fully and exhale, your body naturally relaxes. Half the time, I can't even make it through Victor's um, meditations in the evening is because I have just let it all go. My body relaxes, my mind relaxes. And for that short period of time, I am in a zone someplace. Um, Try to do mindful activities that make you feel good, whether it's eating a favorite meal, taking a walk, listening to some, beautiful music. I love listening to the birds. I love watching the squirrels and the chipmunks chase each other. It's my version of entertainment. Um, and there's a river not far from me. Sorry, I didn't realize that was so loud. Um, there is a river that I love to go and sit by, sometimes with the dogs, um, and just watch the water move. If the breeze is coming through, it moves it. Um, and I love being able to breathe deep. I used to breathe to swallow, so swallow. Not sure. But yes. And for me, breathing releases my throat chakra. My throat chakra is where I've held most of my pain, suffering, trauma in my voice, in my throat. Yes, it impacts my heart. Yes, it impacts my solar. Yes, it impacts my sacral and my root. Um, I shut down my third eye for 60 years. That's an exaggeration. I would probably say a good, well, from the time that I was made fun of being too intuitive and emotional. So probably 10 years old. So a good 50 years, I shut that thing down. And I've been knocking on my third eye to allow it to just show me what I need to see. Um, and that's when you sit in stillness. That's when you sit in quiet. You don't have to meditate, just be in that moment and being in that peace. Um, and for me, meditation. I love listening to guided meditations. I have recorded some that I have done from my previous life, and sometimes I listen to my own guided meditations. I'm a huge Wayne Dyer fan, and he has an I Am meditation that I love to listen to. And there are others, guided meditations. And then there are beautiful tunes. Jimena has one that she just put out today, is listening to music. Millie has done it, I think. Is it Millie? Millie, is it you that you put out? Yes, it is. You have these videos that you have put nature sounds together. Um, and I haven't seen a current one, but I could be behind. So please forgive me if I am. Um, but anyway, find your quiet time, your meditation, chanting. I know. Now this is where the hippy dippy comes in, right, Jimena? Chanting. You don't have to say anything dramatic. You could say amen if that is something that makes you feel connected to your God, whatever that God is. I have some Catholic friends that think "om" is this awful word. I can't unconvince them, and it's not my job to. Um, for me, I love the vibration of "om." I love, there are certain tones that when I am sitting and there are not people around, I just express that sound. Um, I like to listen, and I've talked about this. Ben Carroll. He's very lyrical and haunting in his um, chanting when he's doing the singing bowls. Um, and I love listening to singing bowls. Oh, all right, great, Melia. I didn't see one come across my notifications, but like I said, given everything that's been going on lately, I'm not paying attention as much. So anyway, that's this law of attraction today. And we carry that through the month of June. And so some of the things that we're going to talk about this month will incorporate this law of perpetual transmutation of energy. And I think that if each of us, if it's important to us, this is what's important to me. So I never like to assume that everybody is on the same train as I am when you're working through your stuff. And some of you may have already worked through a lot of this. I am a constant work in progress. And I do need to be a practitioner or a student in order for me. Yes, amen, Ra. And there is a whole, Josh, you may know this, or Victor, or any of you here. It's the sounds of, is it the root chakras that the Indian culture chants? Shoot, I'm going to look it up and bring it next on Thursday. And I do that one when it comes across my feed. I should save it, and it's incredibly liberating when I listen to those sounds of your chakras and you release them, and there is this. I should do it more often, and now that we're talking about it, I'm definitely going to do it. But I also love just the om just creates that quiet. The amen, the thank you, just a vibration coming out of my mouth. When we were singing, we would do things to hone our voices. And so I will take sometimes some of those tunes that people would say and just allow my voice. I wish my friend Cassie was on the channel because um, she teaches voice lessons, and she would be able to give me some of the I call them chants, but they're voice exercises. Using the voice helps me to feel the vibration in my throat, which also opens the throat chakra, which also filters up and filters down for me personally. So, anyway, as always, I am going to end it a little early. I want you guys to see the new intro outro. It's still being worked on, but I want you to see it, and I'm just going to um, play this for you. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have enjoyed watching it. Um, the song and then the video was just captured by my lovely friend Mish, who yes, hum is another good one. Um, uh, she helped create this for me, and it really means for me. It means the world to me. So, all right, what is? I'm not going to have time, Mish, to upload this. So next time, but I'm going to say Thank you. I appreciate you. I am truly grateful for each of you being here, both live and those of you that are on replay. I do ask that you subscribe and like the video. Feel free to share it with anyone you think that might enjoy this channel. And I missed why we're congratulating Echo, but sending you all with love and light, healing, compassion, sprinkled with giggles and laughter. And as we leave, please enjoy my new outro. All right, let's get it out there, people. All right. Why is this giving me grief? All right, hold on. I'm technically challenged. I want it to play, and it's not. Oh, here we go. Oh, Lord, that's my congestion. I'm going to be positive. All right. Coming. You guys, thank you so much.
One day, on a cold January day, life changed in so many ways at once. As the day begun, I lived one life. As the day ended, I had begun anew, reborn with a new life, a new mission, reborn with a new vision. What may come, I don't know yet, but I am here alive, living my life to the fullest, with new love in my heart and soul, a gift to have, a gift to give, a new life of love, reborn. I'm like an ice skater dancing out for the first time on the form solid ice. No more fears, no sorrows, because I love the common tomorrows. This life has barely begun, but now I know what I want to do. I know what I want to be, reborn. Finally feeling I am fulfilling my destiny, with a heart filled of gratefulness, happiness, joy, overflowing of kindness and love. Oh, so much love. I feel like love is the supportive pillar in my soul, and it only grows each day. I'm reborn in love.